This activity is going to look at patterns. It will reinforce some vocabulary about geometric shapes and bring in some art into math activity. In math, a pattern is repeated shapes, objects, or numbers. So talk about what a pattern is, and then have the student experiment to see if they can figure out what the pattern is with the shapes in the top one, and drag over the shapes that are up there in the corner to make the pattern, to carry it out further. And then the numbers are a little bit harder. See if they can figure out what the pattern to those numbers is. And you can make up some more patterns, maybe have them make a pattern that you guess. On this slide, you're going to teach them a big word. The word is tessellation. Kids love big words. And a tessellation are shapes that fit together and they don't overlap and there are no gaps. And I made these triangles out of the Jamboard little shape so that they can be colored. And so have them take some time and make a pattern coloring these shapes. It's kind of hard sometimes to get a hold of a shape. See, when you click on a triangle, it selects a square. You can go up here, choose a color, and then it can be hard to get that next one. So if they have trouble and can't do it, just have them make white part of their pattern. Or you can, if you move this out, then it's easier to select that one and then you can move it back. But have them take some time and color these shapes in a pattern way to color the tessellation and make a pattern. Not all shapes can tessellate. Ask them to try to predict which of these shapes can tessellate and play around with them, see if they can fit them together without overlapping and with no spaces in between, and identify the tessellating shapes and those that can't tessellate. You can have them see if two different shapes could tessellate together. Now this slide is just for illustration and to reinforce the vocabulary of some of these geometric shapes. And that top one there, that you've got hexagons, squares, and triangles tessellating together. And this illustrates that you can use more than one geometric shape together if they fit together and there's no overlaps, and you can put them together with no gaps. The kids have probably played with those plastic shapes that I've got a picture of here, and they're always the same colors. The hexagons are always yellow, and so that referring to them can help you explain the shapes. The trapezoids are the red. They're always red. For trapezoids in those plastic things that you buy are always red. And they may not know the word trapezoid or hexagon. They certainly will know squares and triangles. And they've probably played with these shapes. So introduce the vocabulary if it's new to them. Have them say it back to you. And the trapezoids tessellate. And then triangles. These are just illustrations of the art that you can do with tessellating geometric shapes. This slide is just to show them the connection between art and math. These are some of M.C. Escher's tessellations. There's many, many more, just to show them how intricate it can get, and that artists can also be mathematicians, or vice versa. This website here is provided by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and it has a free tessellation creator that's an interactive activity that kids can play with. They may have a firewall and would be unable to get to this, but possibly not. And if not, this is just a great tool for the kids to play and make tessellations and patterns. You also can talk about the number of sides and what's the words for these geometric shapes given their number of sides. Some of these tessellate together and some don't. You can just experiment. And down here it tells you how to use the tools. Very easy to use. They can make beautiful tessellation patterns, color them in a pattern so you reinforce the idea of patterns, the names of these geometric shapes, and maybe think about what characteristics tessellate together and what doesn't. And it's also kind of fun.